Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Learn From Us podcast. I'm Paul. He brought a dear friend in. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Folks, I met this gentleman 7 minutes ago.
Yes.
I opened the door to go upstairs.
Truth.
And in front of me is this.
It's a
And
a walking thrift shop of awesomeness.
I grabbed my rape whistle and I put it to my mouth. And he says,
Too soon?
he says to me, "Are you Don?" I'm like, "Okay, this is our guest."
Folks, this gentleman in front of us, Jameson Reeves.
This is not a costume.
This is not a costume. This is how he is.
Everyday attire.
And I knew that going in.
Freaking
Remember,
love it.
I told him to look at the Hesh Sagafi because Hesh walked in, a multimillionaire broker, and I walked in with like the hoodie and the sweatshirt. So I said, any attire is welcome. Jameson, thanks for being here. How are you, my friend?
You're welcome. I'm fantastic. I appreciate you having
I
me.
invited him on 2 days ago, Paul. I was at his shop. Now, you might
Is this the
want-
one in Canal Fulton?
No, it's in Akron.
Oh, it's in Akron. That's right. Sorry.
Yeah, so Jameson owns Full Grip Games in Akron. Now, again, folks, for listening, if this is not going to be another Magic the Gathering episode that
yes,
we've
it will.
talked about.
It'll end up being that.
That's
But
fine.
no, but Paul has taught me that whether I'm selling Magic the Gathering or dry graphite film or photography, a business is a business, which I never really, I'm still learning, the ideas, ins and outs. And I was intrigued, Jameson, with your business, how you've grown it, how you've become, I think, a staple in Akron for gaming. And so I think if you're listening and you think gaming's for nerds, that's fine, but building a business is not. And I'd love to hear a little bit about your story. So tell us about the shop and how you got started.
No, hang on a second.
Oh, go, Paul.
Jameson, how old are you?
Me, I'm 38 now.
Oh,
I
so
was
your
gonna-
age.
Yeah, I was going to say 37, but my birthday was.
Did you go to Stowe High School or
No,
gonna say,
Ellet.
Ellet?
Oh, excellent. So you used to be a banker, you said?
Yeah, I was a banker for 12 years. Yeah, before I started doing this.
Did you wear this to the bank?
Oh, of course not. No, I was super clean cut. I was suit and tie, for most of my adult
Wow.
life.
You had to wear that bullshit?
Yeah. I mean, it's fine. If
What kind of banking were you into?
Well, I worked for MBNA / Bank of America for 6.5
Oh,
years
yeah.
up in Beechwood.
Oh, yeah, the big building. It used to be Cleveland Clinic building.
Yes. So there I did sold credit cards. I did collections, customer service, retention, which was interest rates. I was a credit analyst for 3 years. And then I moved out to Chicago and transitioned with Chase Bank out there. And I was a personal banker, small business specialist, and then a business banker.
And how long were you in Chicago?
8 years.
And then you came back?
Yeah, then I came back.
So this store you have,
Yes.
did you start it or did you buy it?
Ooh, great question. So I actually had the same exact business in Chicago. With
Oh,
some-
you did?
Yes, with some business partners. And that's why I'm so successful.
So how did you get into that?
Well, I started playing Magic the Gathering when I was a kid. I was probably middle school, right? 10, 12 years old, something like that. Stopped playing when I was in high school because, I was playing sports and high school things. And then, once I got a job when I was out in Chicago, I actually went out there for music, and then that didn't work out. So I was like, I need a hobby, and one of my buddies took me to a pre-release, and then that was it, and I was like,
What's a pre-release?
There's like a party they had before they release
Yeah.
like a new set. So the 2020 set comes out. They have like a big party and kids go and do all this stuff.
Okay, so then what led to a store?
Great question. So, as you might know, you play Magic?
I do not.
Okay, do you know anything about Magic?
Only what I've heard from him.
Okay, so to play the game, you got to have cards,
Right.
right? Well, you have to collect those cards because you can't just, open them all in packs. They're random, So I was trading to get a lot of cards to build the decks that I wanted to play at a very high velocity at a couple of the different stores that were out there. And there were a few other guys that were starting a business, right? They were starting a store, and and the investor actually noticed how much I was trading the cards, and not a lot of people do that. And he was like, "Hey, I want this guy." So then he pulled me in, to the business deal when they started a shop, and that's
So
how-
when you say started a shop, you were selling cards?
Great question. Yes. So we were traveling around to large events for the game because they have large tournaments, one to three times a month, and so they started an online store.
Let me
to
help
begin
this.
with to sell the
The
cards.
game changes, so the new 2020 card might very well pair with a card from 20 years ago.
Right.
And now all of a sudden, this card that we were throwing away for nothing is
Worth so
jumps
much
to
more.
a $40, $50, $100 card.
Yep.
So what he's saying is the day-to-day insider trading, not insider, but like stock trading of what's high and low, what's trending.
Yep, the market.
Or they'll have a championships in blah, blah, blah. And then this guy uses this crazy random card that hasn't been used in any deck ever. And now all of a sudden the whole world jumps on board. Now we all need this card. But the the number of those cards might be very low if it's from a really early set or it's really old. And so there is this day-to-day of trading. This is how I got into it too.
Oh, okay.
I didn't play much at all. I saw the idea that I could sit down with you. This is, for me, I think probably for you, it was pretty pre-internet and pre-cell phones.
Yes.
So when you were trading with someone, you had to know what your cards were worth.
Yep.
You had to know there wasn't a stock market.
Wasn't like you go on the internet and search the cards. By the way, you made a comment earlier. This was not going to be about Magic the Gathering.
Right,
so
I guess what the point is, call it stocks. I mean, imagine a stock market where you couldn't actually figure out the price.
And it's a combination. So I would say it's partially that, but it's partially American pickers. Right?
Oh,
right. Because
yeah.
I'm traveling the United States trying to find the stuff that other people may not have an idea that's gold. I know it's gold.
So the investor, did he have a shop already?
He did not.
So he pulled you in.
Correct.
Anybody else?
Yeah, there were two other people that started with us. They didn't last very long.
So you guys had an online shop.
Correct.
So you'd basically just find cards yourself.
Yep.
And then go sell them on the internet.
Correct.
When you were finding cards, would you find them by going to like the American Picker kind of idea of going around and looking for things?
Great question. So, and that's where I was describing the large events that they have. So we would go to the large tournaments when we would have a binder full of cards, and we would go trade out our cards at a value to get other people's cards, and then we bring those cards that we traded for back home, organize them all, list them online, sell them, and ship
I
them
do the
out.
same thing. I would literally start with these people would start with like $1 and they try to get like 10. It's like I would start with this card and come home with this.
Yep, exactly.
But how are you able to do that and everybody else isn't?
You're honest. You tell them, I'm trading for value. You can take anything that you like, because a lot of times people need cards to build the decks that they want to build, and you just tell them, hey, look, I'm trading for value. You can take anything you like, but I'm just looking to get some value.
I wasn't.
By the way, if you
honest.
like the way Jameson looked, please subscribe down below.
Yes.
That is true. Yeah, thanks for saying that.
Yes, please. Please subscribe.
I was not as honest. I actually just utilized my knowledge of the pricing, and I would try to find people who didn't have the same knowledge or didn't work as hard.
Like a 7-year-old kid.
No,
We did some of that too. But, I mean,
yeah.
try to be honest.
But again, this is like I said.
What would you make on a card? Like when you're looking for value, like what are you trying to double up? Because I used to be into baseball cards.
Okay.
And the guy I used to buy from had a shop right next to my mom's house, and he'd always say to me, "Whatever you see in Beckett,
Yep.
I'm going to pay you half."
If you're spending cash, yes, but if you're trading, you're gonna give them a little bit more.
Are you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, actually, when you calculate it, you're actually giving them less cash.
And how much? How many cards were you guys selling like a month? Like how much revenue you guys were doing a month?
When we first started out, about $40,000 a month.
Wow.
Yeah.
What did that yield in profit?
You're looking after all costs, you're looking at about 10%.
Oh, that's not bad.
Conservatively, I mean that's just my conservative,
And then,
ballpark.
so then you moved away from Chicago. How long were you in that store in Chicago? Because you said you were in Chicago for 8 years, but you didn't start at day one.
Correct. No, about 3 years.
Okay, and when you left Chicago,
Yep.
what were you guys doing in revenue?
1.2 million.
A year?
Yep.
100,000 a month.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
Good for you guys.
How did the partnership? How was that? I mean, working with other people and.
It was interesting. It was great. I mean, honestly, I have to thank my my business partner for where I'm at today, because if I hadn't have gotten that opportunity,
Sure.
I may not have the I wouldn't have had the funds to do what I did.
Is
Today.
he still the partner with you today?
No. We parted ways when I moved back here 4 years ago.
What made you decide to move back here 4 years ago?
He fired me.
That's honesty. I love it.
He fired me.
He did.
Yes.
Yeah, there's.
Yeah.
This is one of the questions where it's not. I don't need full disclosure. Do you
you're
want to
fine.
talk about why he fired you?
Yes, I can talk about most things. Yes.
Why did he fire you?
We didn't necessarily agree eye to eye on a lot of things, and I had some unresolved anger issues that I needed to deal with because I was not dealing with. No, you're
I'm
fine.
teasing.
I didn't have the conflict resolution skills that I have today.
Oh.
And it took a lot of practice.
That takes a lot of
Yeah.
honesty to say that. Wow, that's
Yes.
impressive.
Thanks.
So your fist found itself in a wall or two?
No.
I'm still working on that as well.
We all are.
So, were you
got bruises.
happy to move home, or was it
Not at all.
Not at all.
Really?
I see.
Oh no, have you been to Chicago?
Yeah, I'm not in the big city stuff. Like Akron to me is heaven.
Okay.
Akron to me is heaven.
I mean, it is to me now too. Like now that I've been back a few years, but now I'm a big city kid. I love the city. It's fantastic. I had such a killer deal too where I was living. Oh my God, I had a 1-bedroom condo
so why'd you leave then?
because I got fired.
But you could have found a job in Chicago. There's 8 million people there.
Yeah, but I couldn't necessarily have my pink mohawk and do what I wanted to do.
Really?
Oh, I see.
Well, I mean, So when he let me go, I talked to a lot of people, and a lot of my people or a lot of my friends are professionals, like you gentlemen as well. And they, a few of them said the same thing, and they're like, you need to do a pros and cons list, right? You need to make an inventory of all of your opportunities, okay? Put them all on paper, do a pros and cons list for each opportunity.
Paul makes me do this exercise as well.
It's smart. It's very smart. And then they said, look, weigh the pros and cons, right? Look at what your best opportunity is, and then where's your heartland? Right? Where's your heartland? And I just didn't want to stop, being in this industry.
So that's what's great. You went to college.
A little bit, John Carroll for a semester. Yeah.
Okay. So pseudo college.
Right.
I'm just kidding. I'm
fine.
anti John Carroll because they kind of hated on me.
John
about
Carroll?
something. Yeah, they kind of hated on me about something, so I told them to go themselves.
Right.
Sorry, I didn't know that, Paul. That's a sour note.
But who would have thought? Would you have thought when you were in college, I'm going to own a Magic the Gathering business someday?
Not at all.
So that's the funny thing. I
Yes.
talk to these kids from my high school all the time.
Right.
And I tell them, you all think you're going to do amazingly awesome, super huge things. And guess what? You don't need to.
Right.
You could be super happy being a plumber.
Yeah.
Selling
Yes.
Magic the Gathering cards. Like, you don't know what you're going to do.
Right.
Just let the world come. Go take advantage of opportunities. And now you've had this business. You came back to Akron.
Yep.
And you said, I'm starting this shop.
Yep.
How'd you?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
What's it like starting a business? I mean, I know what it's like, but I mean,
Yeah.
tell us your path of starting a business. Where'd you find that gorgeous location?
Where are you located?
Corner of Market Street and Summit Street in downtown Akron.
Oh,
It's a
excellent.
corner lot, beautiful
Yes.
old building, and plenty of room inside. It looks
Yes.
like.
Yeah.
Tell us about that process.
Yeah, great question. So it was pretty funny. So when I was still living in Chicago, I was visiting the last month or so, trying to find an apartment, and I was just downtown for some reason, and drove past and saw it was for lease, and I stopped, and I looked at it. I was like, man, this is the spot. Like this.
How big is it?
It's like 4,300 square feet.
Wow, that's big.
Yeah, the retail side of it's like 2,300, and
Holy
the rest
cow,
is
that's
like,
a big location.
Well, the problem is you need a lot of room for the kids to sit around and play. I always say kids. Most of the time we're talking people well over 20 years old.
So
I mean,
is your store
people our
solely
age.
about Magic the Gathering?
No, it's not.
Oh.
No, it's not.
and that's what I want. We can learn more about because he has some interesting ideas about.
So when you first started the store, did you do the online aspect as well?
Yes.
The new store in Akron?
Yes.
Well, you said that with hesitation.
No, you're fine. I just didn't finish that story.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
sorry.
no,
Go ahead.
No, you're fine.
No, you're right.
No,
Go
you're
ahead.
good.
You're
You're
right.
good.
Tell us
go
about the
ahead.
building.
Okay, so I came here, was looked for an apartment, saw this place, was like, this is the spot. Hadn't even moved back yet. Then moved back, and I actually started the business in my basement,
Oh.
in my townhouse in West Akron. And I mean, it was about half the size of this space right here. And we were traveling to those events again.
Who's we?
I had 2 employees at that point, and yeah, we were traveling to those events and setting up as a vendor and buying the cards, bringing them back, listing them online, and selling them, and shipping them out from my house. So a couple months in, I look at that place again, and it's rented out, and I'm like, oh man, this is the spot. And then luckily, about another month afterwards, they left.
What was in there?
I think it was like a comedy shop
Luckily
or
for
something
you,
like
not
that.
luckily for them.
Yeah,
probably.
right. No,
Keep going.
Nothing super serious. And yeah, so I saw that it was available, and we were only open for 6 months online, and I just I talked to some buddies and just made the jump, and we took the spot.
When you say talk to some buddies, what do you mean?
I have a lot of friends in this industry, and I like talking to people and getting their ideas. I try not to think that I know everything. I try to remain teachable. So I like to bounce, my thought process off a lot of people, just not a lot of people, but at least, a few people in my circle to make sure that what I'm thinking is accurate. And
Now, are they business people?
right, they are. Yeah.
Oh, okay. That makes
Paul,
more
I
sense.
noticed you don't bounce much off of me, but I have to bounce every move off of you.
Well, if I want to grow a beard, I would definitely bounce
Okay.
that off of you.
I'm explaining this to my 9-year-old, like the ability of being teachable and listening to people who know more than you, because now the 9-year-old is moving into, he knows everything already.
Right.
And so I said, hey, even I have, I'm trying to teach you, and Paul's trying to teach me. I go
And
to
I have
you
coaches.
Yeah, so it's just
Right.
this chain of events. So, yeah, so you started Full Grip Games in 2015, 16? 16.
Yep.
What month?
April.
Sorry, before the Cavs won the finals.
Is it nerve-wracking? I mean, is it nerve-wracking to get going? Because you had to, how did
Oh,
you get going? Like
100%.
the cases, the chairs, the office?
Yeah, 100%. It's definitely nerve wracking. I mean, it's Stressful. I mean, I have anxiety as well, and everything I do is never really good enough for me. So
what are you guys doing in revenue when you came back to Akron? 'Cause I imagine the revenue is going to be the same if you're doing it online. It's not going to be that much different.
Well, it is just because it takes a little bit of time to get ramped up and for people to get to know you and trust you and everything like that, build feedback online. So we were doing, our first 6 months, we did like $330,000 in sales, I think.
Oh, good for you.
Thanks.
Wow.
Yeah. So we got up and running
That's
pretty fast.
That's $56,000, $55,000 a month.
Right. Yeah.
Wow.
And then
same margins?
Yeah, pretty much for the most part. That doesn't change. Well, because we have me, so.
I don't know what that means.
It would be like anybody in any type of industry that's good at what they do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I know what to buy, know how to talk to people and everything like that. And
so how many cards, when you buy a card, how long does it typically sit with you before it's sold?
it depends on the card. That's a very specific question. Yeah, it depends.
How many cards are there now? 30,000?
Oh, at least, yeah.
Different kinds of cards.
Well, the crazier part is people like him and I know a majority. I mean, if you're in the game,
Yeah.
your mind can visually
Yeah.
see half a picture of a card and just know it.
Yeah.
And so I know you probably know almost. I mean, are there many cards you don't know? I mean,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and I mean that's one of the skill sets you learn too is just to rely on your resources, because the market changes too, because of there's different formats and things like that, and kind of how you were describing too. If someone just played a card and then and it hadn't been played for 20 years, now it's worth X amount of dollars.
Or Paul, the best card will build up and everyone uses it, and then they ban it because it's too powerful, and then everything goes down. So
yeah, so I'm studying the market on a consistent basis.
So when you get a card, what would you say on average you hold it in inventory for?
That's a great question. I mean, it could be anywhere from a day to 6 to 9 months.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it really just depends
How many?
on the
So how
card.
many cards are you selling a month?
How many? Ooh, physical cards? I have no clue.
No clue.
No clue.
What are you doing in revenue now?
Very happy. So we just surpassed or pretty much hit what I hit my last year with my last misses. We did $1.4 million in sales last year.
Oh, good for you.
Thanks.
That's excellent.
Thanks.
and you have to have huge.
getting there.
Yeah. What is your inventory cost?
My inventory cost, typically you average it because it's so difficult to give you an exact amount, and I know that's wishy-washy, but about 50%, about 50 to 60%.
So how many?
It's more on sealed products. Sealed products like 80%.
How many? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, because it's easier to turn those.
No, it's just it costs more from distributors. So I have to buy a sealed product from distributors, whereas I can buy cards and collections from individuals.
How many cards do you have on hand right now, do you think?
On hand. I mean, millions probably.
Millions of cards.
Yes. Yeah, you should come to the shop sometime.
I 100% am coming to the shop.
It's like a
Paul,
library.
You ask this a lot. Magic is not really about the number. It's like for every 3,000 shit cards, there's one that's worth $300. They make them that way. There's a bunch of duds and there's a bunch of awesome ones.
Yeah,
And
it's
so
like baseball
It's not
cards.
about
you have
number.
millions of cards in your shop.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, easy.
I mean, there's
How do you sell mostly? eBay?
No, mainly through. I mean, there's a few channels. So TCG Player is a hub for collectible card games, and then we do sell through Amazon.
Oh.
And then we sell directly through our website, and that kind of goes into the Pokemon piece because Pokemon is massive for us.
And that just started recently with the Pokemon Go, or was that before that?
No, not correlated, not correlated, but within the past year. Within the past year.
Within the past year?
Pokemon's jamming. I thought it's been around for a long time too, though. Right?
Oh, it's amazing. Pokemon is amazing. And I don't think a lot of people understand or realize this, but Pokemon's like one of the biggest IPs in the world.
Wow.
Yeah.
My kids are nuts about it.
Are they really?
I mean, most kids are. Like the symbol of Pikachu, you know who that is, right?
The yellow one?
You see?
Yes. Right.
Look at that.
So the symbol of that guy, he's the most famous, right? I mean,
Yeah, for sure.
So I mean, like that's like
People, you got to remember, I literally only know one Pokemon, and that was the yellow one, and I didn't know it was Pikachu. I heard the name Pikachu.
So someone told me the other day too that this generation's Mickey Mouse is Pikachu.
oh Pikachu.
Same kind of concept.
Oh, I guarantee them. My kids go to Disney. They have no damn clue who Goofy is. They've never seen him before. I mean, why would you? I mean, he's not. The cartoons aren't around. I mean, unless they're for little babies. But regardless, we're talking about Pikachu.
So can I ask a very accounting question? This is
Sure.
going to seem weird.
Shoot.
When you buy, who does your accounting? Like, do you do it yourself?
I do.
When you buy these cards, do you book it to inventory or do you expense it immediately?
I mean both because card costs going to be, an expense.
Well, eventually, when you sell them, you're supposed to expense it.
Well, yes.
All right, let's get too far along the way because I'm thinking to myself like, man, it's
How to keep track of all this shit?
yeah. How do you keep track of all these millions of cards of inventory?
Well, you're not definitely inventorying every single card, right? You buy collections, you write off that amount, and then when you sell it,
That's it. Right. Correct.
So you do write
that's
off.
what I meant by it.
You write off the full. Okay, gotcha. Okay, I don't
Just
want,
what we spent. Yeah, just what we spent on everything.
Man, this is
so for
incredible.
example, I showed up just a couple days ago. He brings out 3 boxes just full of hot ass cards that he went to, so he goes, you do this bit, it's a never ending bit. But the things I was interested in is he said, well, I want to show you some cards I'm not selling. I was like, well, come on. I mean, money's money. But tell me about that box.
Yeah, no, it's just it's a box of older cards. It's like the first, 5 sets, and I'm just gonna let it accumulate value.
What did you call it though? You told me it's a. What did you say?
What did I say? I don't remember.
It was like, shit. It's like you were stockpiling.
Yes.
Waiting for the next. What?
For the next jump in.
Yeah, because the cards I was talking about on the podcast months ago have since declined in value. A lot of them.
Yeah.
And again, there's cycles.
Remember what you said? You're like,
Yes.
but these keep going up. I'm like, and eventually they'll stop. Something will happen.
Correct.
That's
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah.
So what's the most valuable card you have in your shop?
That's interesting.
The most valuable card right
Moxes?
now. Probably. Probably about $2,000 right now.
Oh, okay. So it's not like some.
There's not many cards over $2,000 or $3,000.
Not a ton.
No.
The most expensive one that I ever traded out was $14,000. The most expensive one
Wow.
I've ever sold, one card for cash, was $6,500. Yeah.
Wow.
So they're out.
And
there.
are you open 7 days a week?
Yes, we are, from noon to 10 p.m.
So how much do you think having a retail front drives your sales?
Oh, that's interesting.
About 15%.
Oh, that's it.
Not much.
Is it worth the squeeze?
So that's
there
what
of
to say to
having
you.
a-
What's
Yes.
your cost on your store?
Oh, 100%. It's basically free. It's like $2,000 a month for my rent.
Oh, wow.
It's basically free. Yeah. And I mean, we're doing somewhere between $20,000 and $30,000 in sales a month in the shop. So it's great.
So it's
And-
more than 15%.
No.
Yeah, because because $20,000, $30,000, $25,000 a month times 12 is 300,000 on 1.4 million is over 20%.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
So it's okay. So it's not bad, and you make your 10% on that one, and
Well, I think too is you have to have a community to keep the community strong. I mean, that's obvious, right? But
Yeah, that's certainly part of it. And then you do have to have a retail location to be able to get sealed product, which is very important.
valid
too.
point.
Yeah,
Valid
So
point.
and
I know
then-
what you're saying now.
And then half of the shop is a warehouse, basically, for our online inventory too. So you might as well have a retail front if you're gonna connect it to your warehouse. It's perfect.
And you still go ahead.
what other things do you sell there? You were telling me about sort of the gaming.
Did you do any baseball cards?
When I was a kid, but not in
Not
the
the
shop.
store? Okay.
No. Yep.
Like board games and stuff. You said it's kind of like your long-term savings. What were you saying?
Yeah. Board games are fantastic. I mean, they make the shop look great. Yeah, I mean, during the holiday seasons, especially, they're just fantastic because we're in Ohio, so it's kind of cold during the winter, and people are inside and they want something to do, and it's also great too because it brings in a different type of clientele that we typically wouldn't get, and it's like families and things like that, and yeah, it's
Paul,
great.
the board games have gone from Monopoly and Sorry. It's just like there's just like how many rows? I mean, just rows of new games will never hear of.
Really?
Some of which are incredibly popular.
Yeah.
Like this game, Settlers of Catan.
Yeah, I've heard about that.
Yeah,
game.
my family loves that game, and now there's like
Doesn't it take like months to play or
no,
something?
just a couple 90 minutes.
What's
2
the
hours.
game that takes like months to play?
Risk can take 4 or 5 hours. I don't know what months is Axis and Allies or something.
Yes.
Have you heard of Axis and Allies?
Yes.
So I mean, there's games that just now even Settlers of Catan has expansion packs. I've spent at least $300 or $400 on that particular game itself for my home play, just buying expansion packs, and then you get in accessories and shit. Now my kid wants a T-shirt. I mean, it just keeps going and going and going. So
Well, I'm glad, it's funny, as much as I like technology, I'm glad to hear that people are still doing these like non-technology things like cards and board games. Because I look at going, listen, technology is wonderful, but at the same token, it's nice to have people touch and feel something. You know what I mean?
100%.
The old baseball card shop that I used to go to is now gone.
Makes sense.
But baseball cards have really,
so what is the parallel?
Go ahead.
What is the parallel between your thought between baseball and Magic, and how one just completely died, and one seems like it's always going up?
I mean, I think there's a couple factors. You're kind of asking like why the baseball cards went down.
Yeah, what did they do wrong?
There were too many people printing them. I mean, you had like Topps, Fleer,
Donruss.
Score, right? Whereas with Magic, you have one company that prints it, so there aren't multiple companies that print it.
And they're
so
doing a
don't
good job, it
overprint
seems, of saying, okay, it's almost like they're controlling the market in the sense of, we're going to plummet this value of the card and we're going to increase this one. So it always has this.
part of it, yeah.
Yeah, it just seems like plus it's a game. You can't play anything with,
That's the
with
last point.
baseball.
Yes,
Yeah, it's a
correct.
game.
Correct. Yep.
Yeah, so the game forces you to
How many people play Magic the Gathering in the world?
30 million.
Something like that.
In the world?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Shut the front door.
Last time I checked, last year, the Magic the Gathering online made $2 billion.
Well, Pokemon did $1 billion last year.
Is that true?
Or something like that in online.
That I don't.
So
that I
so
don't know.
that's just it, I think, is the baseball cards. You had so many different people, different companies making the same product that they just started flushing everyone out, and now they're not worth anything. Tell us about the one thing I wanted to bring him in, not so much for Magic. I mean, I am intrigued with Magic, but like the business, you have 212 Google reviews.
Do you really?
Do I?
You do.
What's the name of the company again?
One thing you told me
Full grip game.
in person.
Full grip games.
So Paul, I get to the point where when I go to a place and get great customer service, I'm somewhat surprised in this day and age.
Why is that? Oh, when you get good.
When I get customer service, I'm a little surprised.
For sure.
And so I was really just like
213 now.
213.
Thanks.
So I was
4.6 stars.
I was very shocked at like the service I got here. I'll walk into places, and when it's really hard to buy something, I literally will say like, I want to spend money with you. Will you help me spend? And it's like, sometimes they won't even do that. But of course now I just ask for the top dog. He comes out, he brings me all this hot ass, and it's very, very difficult. For example, I had some amazing cards out. I had some amazing cards out, and a couple of days ago looking at them, and I really didn't have like obviously I want them, they're incredible, but like I didn't really was going to buy them. But like the way he can sell, I was like, yeah, like I don't even have any cash on me. And he just goes, oh, so this will be a credit card purchase then, won't it? It's like, yeah, it will.
You got to assume the sale.
How long you guys known each other? 3 days?
I've met you. I've been 3 times.
Yeah, probably a few months, 3-4 months.
Yeah.
4 months.
But anyway, like 212 Google reviews. That's
213. I just
213. That's
Yeah,
incredible. Like,
thanks.
there are businesses, competitors of mine, been in business 10 years. They have 8 Google reviews. I mean, like,
well, it's incredible what happens when you ask for reviews too. You don't even ask for it. You didn't even know you had. So this is all literally organic.
Yeah.
You didn't buy it. You started Full Grip Games.
Yep.
Let's see it on Facebook. See how many likes and all that crap. Well, 1,394 people like this. I'll like it for you. 1,395.
look at you go. You're gonna get
Thanks.
updates about Magic now.
Oh shit.
Or and Pokemon.
Where can people find you on Facebook?
Full grip games would be
The best place.
would be the best place. Yep.
This is
So,
this is incredible.
So
Fullgripgames.com too, kids.
Yes. The
There's-
website.
I'm
12.
sure.
You're opening 12 to 10. That's what times you're open.
Noon to 10. Yep.
How often are
7
you
days
there?
a week?
How often are you there?
5 days a week. 5 to 6.
How late into the evening?
It varies, but usually like 8 to 10 p.m. I usually start at like 10 a.m.
And do you have like big tournaments there? Or like,
Yeah, we do. We actually run events 6 days a week.
I just saw on Facebook they announced some events.
Yep.
So did you charge people for those events?
Yeah. There's an entry fee, and then there's prize payouts. We usually pay out 100% of whatever people put into the prize pool.
Oh.
Yep. In store credit.
Oh, and store credit.
Yep.
Oh, so you're making some money that way. I like
A
that's
little
how they
bit.
do it.
I like
Yeah,
it.
a little bit.
Listen, I'm all in favor of that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Thanks.
So what do you do in the personal, like, once you make all this money now and you're like swimming in cash, what do you spend on? Like, where do you live?
I mean, I pretty much live at the shop for the most part. I mean, I still have my townhouse with a couple roommates out in West Akron, but I built a little apartment in the basement at the shop, and I pretty much live there. Like, I'm just grinding. Yeah, work late, get up early, go to work.
Now, the one thing, I don't want to turn this,
No, you're fine.
I don't want to turn this sour, but inevitably, I've gotten in and out of Magic a couple times. And in being, I've always wanted to be in, but like my life has forced me to not be involved. But I keep seeing the same grungy guys pawning the same booth at all the events for a decade.
Yep.
And part of me is like, I kind of feel sad for them. Like,
Yeah.
it's, you're trading. Sometimes you're arguing with little kids about their worth of a couple dollar cards. Like, how do you build this into something? I'm sure you don't want to.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you next. Like, are there goals for this, or is it just like, hey, listen, I enjoy this. I'm going to keep doing it. It makes me 150, whatever thousand a year, if not more, and I'm going to enjoy life.
I just, I don't know. I just have a passion for what I do, and I don't really want to do anything else, in life. Like I'm very, very happy. I mean, I actually took a large pay cut doing this, from working at the bank. And,
did you really?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I took like a $30,000 or $40,000 pay cut. And, yeah, because like I'm not making, like what you said, I'm not making that much a year. I don't pay myself that. I mean, I possibly could, but I certainly don't, because I'm just reinvesting it back in the business. I mean, really the goal, you asked about the goals. The goal for this year is to make $2 million. So
Revenue.
In revenue. Yeah. And then
How did January go?
oh, it was amazing.
Was it?
Yeah, it was very, very good.
How would I would assume an economic downfall would hurt you, or do Magic players care?
That's a great question, and I was talking about this a couple weeks ago. And an economic downturn won't affect us that much because we're in the entertainment industry, and if things aren't going,
But this is a luxury item, though.
That's true, but in an economic downturn, people are still going to need an escape. And this is going to be one of the last things they cut out of their life, because if everything else isn't going that great, they're gonna need their place to go to try to unwind and hang out. You know what I mean?
Are you addicted to chess?
I mean, I play at least an hour and a half a day, 2 hours. I mean, I or study it. I mean, it's not even playing. I study it.
I mean, Magic players, they have this sense of like you can never get out. You're addicted. Like, I probably think it's like...
Listen, chess players, though, they go through ebbs and flows just like everybody else. I mean, the joke for my chess coach and I is we go to events and everybody's either under the age of 22 or the age of 50. Because in between, you have wife, you have kids, you have all these things going on. You don't really...
Right.
Is chess primarily...
For virgins, yes.
Free?
It's funny. It's free. It's not free, but it's a very, very, very cheap crowd. And the one thing that's perplexing, it's such an intelligent game, yet I'm always surprised when I go to events. Offense intended, by the way, to all you chess players out there. It's not a very high quality caliber of person there.
Well, I would say Magic is somewhat similar. Like, there's a lot of smelly, overweight guys.
Yeah, I mean, like when I go
haven't
there,
showered.
When I go there, I'm considered the nut job because I want to start on time, and I'm like, well, the thing was supposed to start at 10 o'clock. What are we doing here? It's 10:07. People are like, hey, man, just relax. We're here to have a good time. And I'm like, I'm going home. Goodbye. You know what I mean? So it's a very carefree. I mean, several of the people are unemployed, like living off disability. I mean, it's just a weird crowd because you think with chess,
Right.
It's a sophisticated, game of, is that Game of Kings or is that Polo?
I don't know.
I don't know. The whole point is you'd be surprised because all the nerds play chess, but then all the nerds are doing what?
We're kind of in a similar boat with Magic players. I have referenced it as an addiction because it costs so much money if you want to be somewhat successful, or if you're just into it for the love of the game. It costs a lot. You end up like putting Magic in front of, I've spent money on this.
Oh, I know.
Probably
more than you want to tell Beth.
Yeah, probably more like
just kidding.
Beth has supported me in some of this because luckily enough it's gone up in value, and so when you sell, you can make a business out of it. But I just
yeah, we kind of joke. We kind of call it
cardboard crack. That's what everyone always said.
Yeah,
because it's very addicting.
So you have an insurance policy, obviously, for your stuff.
Yep.
I mean, it's got to be pretty. I mean, that's a lot of inventory. Shit.
Yeah.
You're kind of dumbfounded here.
I mean, it's just amazing to me that 35 million people. Did you find out how many in the U.S.?
I couldn't find it.
You couldn't find it?
No. As far as like the statistics go, I can only find just players worldwide. I couldn't find anything that's specific to the U.S.
Where is Magic based out of?
Is it
Seattle.
California?
Is it Seattle?
Seattle.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
Are they publicly traded by chance? I doubt it.
Well, they were bought by Hasbro.
Oh, Hasbro bought them?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
When did that happen?
Ooh, I don't.
That makes sense.
Now, the one thing I bring up about the idea of the baseball cards is Magic claims to have this, we're not going to reprint this list. So if you have the bomb-ass cards from 20 years ago,
Right.
I would assume if they reprinted them, that would be, all hell would break loose.
Correct.
They claim to have
That would hurt a lot of credibility for them.
a reserved list of cars that are going to be safe, but who knows? I mean, they could. I would say, hasn't that been affected of late? Like, they have reprinted some old badass cards, and it's affected the old card pricing, good or bad.
I mean, not cards from that list.
That list, but like.
Oh yes. I mean, they've had reprint sets come out pretty consistently.
I heard that was the
years.
downfall of this Pokemon game. Is that.
No, that's Yu-Gi-Oh.
That's right.
That's Yu-Gi-Oh.
So Yu-Gi-Oh had some bomb ass, like, oh my god, cards, and then they just made new copies of them, and
They're like, hey, this is cool.
Yeah.
let's make money now. And
Yeah, I think the biggest problem that they would have, I think it's promissory estoppel or something like that.
Huh?
It's a legal term that like Wizards has already agreed that they are not going to print those cards, and there would be a huge lawsuit if they did.
oh,
Okay.
Right, because
They promised it, and people paid a premium to get it and all that
Correct.
stuff. Oh, okay.
correct. Yeah.
What's your favorite part about owning a business?
Favorite part.
And it's a cheesy question. I don't really mean to ask it in a cheesy way, but you do what you love. You love life, you said. So, I mean, there's got to be things that suck about the business. Like, what do you hate about it?
I don't really have time for much else.
Oh, really?
No, I really don't. No, I mean, no. I mean, that's the biggest sticking point. The biggest thing I like is basically, I can see my efforts become tangible. I can see the results of, all of the work and all of the effort that I put in. That's definitely the best.
I think
best
there are
part.
tons of jobs where that's not really applicable. The last 10 years of work you put in might not matter tomorrow when you go to work.
Right.
I was feeling that too at a job that I had. None of my efforts was ever going to matter. But you're right. Like, that's why I got pretty successful with this game, is like my efforts and like knowing the prices and studying and knowing the cards and knowing how to deal with people.
Yep.
I mean, there are successful Magic places where the owner is just a complete nerdy comic book guy from The Simpsons. It's just like, he's right, you're wrong, and the customer service really isn't there. But I've gone into his shop and irresponsibly bought some cards and had a great time doing it. So I'll probably be back later this week. So.
I would like to come with you sometime.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah, it's a pretty interesting place.
Yeah, I'm not going to probably buy anything Magic the Gathering related, but at the same point,
The
just
one
to
thing
check
that-
it out.
Oh, so he
there's
wanted
board
to
games.
invest $1,000 into Magic.
I said to him, for fun, Seth,
Okay.
if you want to do this, I've got you for $1,000, and he never
So
took it.
what do you think? Well, because shortly thereafter, some of the cards went down in value. What is the
Typical.
What is the safest investment if you want to
what does that
invest in
mean?
Magic?
What is the safest investment?
What would you are putting your money in things, so what would you put your money in?
Me personally, standard cards.
That's the new ones?
Standard Pioneer actually is better than standard Pioneer cards.
Is these new ones, or I don't even know what that is? Actually.
No, so they're cards that go all the way back to Return to Ravnica, which I think is like
Here comes the Magic terms on fall.
6 years ago. 6 years ago. So it's a new format that they just announced. So the cards in those sets are going up because they're going to see more play now, and they've probably been hiding in closets because no one's been playing them.
Who handles your Amazon account?
I mean, I do, and then one of my other employees, Sean.
You guys don't obviously don't do FBA. You guys do.
No, we do.
Oh, you send them to Amazon.
Just for Pokemon lots.
What's the name of your Amazon?
It's Full Grip Games.
Oh, still Ogre Games.
I need some help. I've had some bad luck on Amazon trying to get my sales account going. They say I need a trademark, a brand registry.
Yeah, have
See
fun
this?
with that.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm working on.
All the other cards we don't send FBA, but Pokemon bulk lots.
Like, tell me a card to look up to be able to find you.
Oh,
Pokemon.
that's a great question.
I'll just look up Pokemon cards. Where do you rank in terms of sales on Amazon for Pokemon cards? Do you know?
I don't know. It's a good question.
I don't know. Man, this is incredible. I just can't believe it's
Tell me, Paul.
I mean, it's great that 35 I mean, I would have guessed 500,000 people worldwide played this thing. I didn't know. I had no clue.
Magic or Pokemon?
Magic the Gathering.
Yeah, 35 million.
How many Pokemon players are there in the world?
No idea.
See, to me, I like the baseball cards idea, but like literally like old baseball cards. Like,
Okay.
Yeah.
like, hey, find me a Lou Gehrig or something. I don't own any of these things, but I think of these things like, okay, these are kind of neat. They can't be reproduced. Even if they were reproduced, nobody's making a Honus Wagner again. You know what I mean? If they did, it's like, listen, that's not a Honus Wagner. The original is the original.
Right.
But man, I can't believe Magic the Gathering has that much of a following. You put $1.4 million in revenue, and you're trying to do $2 million this year. When you say we want to do $2 million, Are there things you say, I'm going to do this, 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 and this, and it'll increase my sales by 60% or whatever the number is? It's actually 40% or whatever. Or is it more of like, okay, I'd really like to get to 2 million. Hopefully it happens.
Great question. I mean, I was really breaking it down, and additional capital is really going to be the way that we're going to be able to do that.
So just buying more cards through other...
Buying more cards, but also just getting a loan for the business. I mean,
so how are you getting a loan?
Just a capital injection.
Do you go to a bank?
I have. I've talked to a few people.
And how are they about that?
They're pretty archaic.
Well, bankers are stupid. But I imagine in the world of Magic the Gathering, you probably find some wealthy people who would want to invest.
Yeah, but I want to stay away from any type of individuals investing in my business again. There's another company that I worked with that's a non-for-profit in downtown Akron, and they're the company that I work with for my first business loan. So I'm going back to them as well to try.
How much are you looking to raise?
Just $200,000.
You put that all towards inventory, obviously.
Yep.
That's exciting.
Do you think another topic we bring up about business owners is, can this company survive if something happens to you, God forbid? Can this company survive, or do you feel like you're the main keystone to this? Can you? So the a couple questions. And can you teach someone to have your knowledge, or are you stuck doing what you're doing, like I am for a couple businesses? Like, right. Elaborate on that.
It's a great question. I mean, we would definitely survive. We would have to downsize for sure, because I mean, you can't replace work ethic. And I mean, that's like my superpower is just how much I work. I mean, I definitely, I have a huge knowledge base because of that factor. But that's really, really hard to replace.
No wife, no kids. You've sort of sacrificed.
I have a girlfriend. Yep. But no wife, no kids.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we would survive, but we would certainly have to downsize.
Can you find someone to replace you so you can go home and do podcasts like this guy all day?
That's all I do.
And then someone else can
awesome.
run your business.
I wouldn't want that.
Why not?
'Cause I love what I do. I love to work. No, 100%.
But are there certain aspects of your work you'd rather do?
That I would, yeah, and I do those. So I do delegate. I mean, certainly, like there are a lot of departments that I have other people. I've trained other people, and then I have.
Like, do you like handling the QuickBooks for your account?
No, not really.
Outsource that.
That's fair. That's fair.
Are there ways
I just don't do. Yeah.
Are there things you can outsource to make either?
Well, listen, if he's very good at buying and selling these things, that's what you need to concentrate on. And I don't know how long QuickBooks takes. My guess is if you don't like it, it's probably pretty far behind, maybe.
Yeah, I usually do it every few months.
Every few months.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You don't like that.
I do it every day. I don't personally do it. Yeah. I make our accounts. We have 12 businesses here. We have 30 bank accounts, and I make every single one of them
reconcile
every single day, because I look at it just saying, I just want to know at any given time what is in the accounts, what are we into real estate for, what are we into business for.
See, and I just have one business, so I can just log into my online account, and I do that every day.
But if you write a check out, you don't know if it's cleared yet or not.
If I go to my bank account, I do.
But if it hasn't cleared, do you remember? But if you don't put it in QuickBooks, you might not remember what's outstanding.
Oh, I remember.
Okay.
It's because I just have the one to do. I mean, if you have 20 or 30, like I know.
I got you.
Yeah. No.
And you don't write many checks or anything like that?
No, not really. And if we buy collections, we use PayPal. So like the transaction's going to be in PayPal. So, and I'm really on top of our accounting.
Do you worry about cash flow in the business, or are you kind of like, no, cash flow's good, I don't worry about it?
Cash flow is good, but I do worry about it, because like my mantra with the business for what we're doing is you spend all of the money all of the time. 100%. You spend all of the money all of the time. So, you don't. I know I look at my board games as a savings account, because the return's really good, and I know that I have a bunch of money.
I think I'm losing you at the moment. Both cash flow and that motto. Can you elaborate on what you're saying?
So cash flow, he's looking at. I'm talking about operating cash flow. Like,
yes,
does the business? And he was saying, no, it's good. But then he's also sitting there saying, my understanding is the investing side of the cash flow, he's spending it all the time on new inventory and things like that. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes. And at least where I'm at right now, I'm riding a fine line because we're growing, right? So like to grow as fast as possible, you really have to, you really have to turn it, right? And then that means you have to spend it. Right?
Yeah.
So I'm spending as much as I can, as often as I can, while still paying down, bills and making sure that everything's taken care of. But sometimes that's a fine line, right? Because when you buy the cards, you still have to sell them. You know what I mean?
Of course.
So, and that takes a little bit of time. for that to happen. I mean, we have accounts receivable and everything like that. So, you really have to be on your accounting game to make sure you're not spending too much and putting yourself in a situation where, you can't pay for everything.
How are you marketing this business?
That's really on the Pokemon side. I mean, the biggest way that we're marketing it is through Tricky Gym YouTube channel. I mean,
Tricky Gym.
yeah,
Yeah, you want
yes,
to talk
yes,
about
yes,
this? Tell me about it.
It's my employee Andrew Mahone, and he's a professional Pokemon player, and he streams Pokemon online in the shop 5 days a week, and he's amazing. Like my staff, the rest of my staff is amazing too. So I don't want to leave them out, but yeah, he's just very, very charismatic.
Did you say he's what's going on? Is this a Twitch thing or something? Or?
He's on Twitch as well, but for YouTube, he's playing Pokemon. Okay, the card game online.
Oh,
he's playing the card game.
And
Pokemon
he's streaming
online.
it on YouTube.
Yes, yeah,
and getting a big following from it.
he has a huge following.
Tricky Jim GYM.
Yes, yep, that's him. And
Holy cow!
Yeah, he has like 48,000,
49,000 now.
49, yeah, and yeah, he drives direct site traffic. And it's amazing.
And he works for you?
Some sort of
Yes.
partnership with you?
Yeah, he's an employee. Yeah.
So do you own it? Do you own this YouTube channel at all, or no?
No, not at all. I let him keep it. It's his.
Does he get money? Does he get money from it? How much?
He's paid salary. So
But he's got to make money off this.
correct.
That's what I mean.
correct.
Do you know what he's making off YouTube?
No, I let him keep it as an incentive. You know what I mean? To make him happy and and keep him loyal. 'Cause he built it. He
What
deserves
other
it.
outlets are you using to market? Do you want people to drive down to the store? Is that one of your main goals?
I mean, yes and no. It's just very hard to market in this industry because we're not a typical store, right? And you're not.
I'm surprised you say that because you look a lot like a typical store. I mean,
Thanks.
from
Yeah.
walking in and buying cards.
It looks like a very normal store.
Tell me why you're not. What do you mean?
That's a great question. It's very hard to convert somebody that doesn't play games into playing games. So I could spend a ton of money marketing and getting people in the shop, and they'd be like, "This is a really nice looking store. Hey, I appreciate that." But this isn't what
I
we're
see.
into.
It's not food. Like I'm going to eat food. Whether
And everybody needs food. Everybody needs clothes. You know what I mean? Whereas we're a niche market, and anybody who plays games in the industry, they're going to know about us and come to us because we're a destination location. Because word of mouth is really probably the biggest thing in this industry that is marketing for you. So giving good customer service, like you described, making sure the place is really nice, having a very deep inventory. Those are the things that are really gonna drive sales and drive people to come.
I've seen this business, copies of this business look I would assume very bad. I've been to are there shops in Ohio that are better than yours or more
Yeah, that's a good
better
question.
run? I haven't seen.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely say there are. I mean, there's a few competitors in the local area. I mean, about 20 minutes away from me that are doing very well as well. There's another one in Cleveland that's doing exceptional also.
What's exceptional to you?
I mean, they have all custom shelving. Like you walk in the place and it's in this old Blockbuster, and it's like the ceilings are like 20 feet high. But all the shelving is probably like 10 or 12 feet high.
Oh, wow.
And it was all custom made. I mean, it's very nice. It's very nice. So there's definitely, something for me to aspire to.
Do we know anybody who can set fire to that place?
Oh, you're so
Should
funny.
we know? Don, can you get on that, please? Wait, what were you saying, Don?
Of course I can.
Yeah, I knew you could. Yeah, he supports.
Gangster.
We support our guests.
Gangster.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
His
I
name's
appreciate
Don,
it.
for God's sake.
Right?
Well, yeah, I Paul, I'm kind of like you. These numbers are staggering. I had a friend who works at a shop in this area, and they said they did $1 million, which I told you in revenue. And of course, $1 million in revenue, if your profits is $17, it's not really that great of a business. Right. But I was shocked these numbers. I guess I'm shocked that the idea of, again, I think about this like the stocks, like being informed and moving things in and out. What happens if Magic crashes? Like, is that possible?
Yeah, it's definitely possible. I mean, that's part of the reason why I diversified into board games into Pokemon. So, I mean, if that happens, we'll be totally fine because the business models for Pokemon are exactly
What
the same
percentage of
as
revenue is Magic?
What percent? 50%.
Oh.
Or 40%.
Oh, okay. So it's not, I mean, I thought you were going to tell me like 80, 90%.
It was. It used to
well,
be.
of course. And then, good for you.
Thanks.
So are there other markets you're looking to get into?
No, Pokemon, Magic, and board games. That's it. We're sticking with those. And then just.
So the question becomes like, will board games go away? I mean, you sit there and say no because people still, it's just like clothes shopping.
Yep.
You can buy everything online now, but people still like going to the store and does that mean all stores are going away?
Yeah, how do
No.
you keep up? How do you keep up with someone buying one of your board games on Amazon?
Like what?
What do you mean? How do you keep up?
Well, price-wise, like, isn't this how all the Best Buys of the world are now going down? Because why would you go buy a TV and pay more money when you can just have it delivered to your door?
That's a great question. I mean, it's just we're a full service shop, so not only do we have the board games that you can purchase, we actually have rentals. So we have all of the good board games that come out on shelves that you can play for free in the store, or you can rent them and take them home and play them. And then,
Cool idea.
Yeah, so it's like
So what do you rent a board for? Like, obviously it depends on the game, but like if you're buying a game for $50, how much are you renting it for?
It's all the same for all the games. It's $5 for 3 days or $8 for a week.
Oh,
And then when you bring it back, if you want to buy the game, we'll deduct the amount of rental.
Yeah.
We'll deduct the amount of the rental from the price of the board game.
oh,
Yeah.
how much rental business do you do?
An okay amount.
What's an okay amount?
I mean, we're renting out maybe a couple $100 worth of board games a month.
Oh, okay.
That's
So
nice.
not crazy. You know
It's
what I mean?
pretty
Like,
much all profit. I mean, its gross margin's pretty high up there.
Yeah, it's very good. And it definitely, gets people to buy board games sometimes.
Does
You
it?
know, it's fantastic. Yeah, it's great because, I mean, board games can be expensive. I mean, they can be 50, 60, 70 bucks. And to spend $5 or $8 to figure out if you want it, you just saved, 60 bucks possibly if you didn't like the game.
I think board games I don't think board games are going to go anywhere because they remake iconic versions of the games that we've loved. And when people like my wife can get into some of these new games they would never get into, then all of a sudden it opens it up. So now, like, we'll get together with our friends and play board games you've never heard of. Like,
Well, it's like
10
we talk
people
about
at a time.
We talk about Kindles. I used to do, I read.
Okay.
I went to the Kindle. I'm now back on books.
Right.
I refuse to do the Kindles anymore. I'm just like, I don't like it. I like feeling it. I like highlighting things. I like writing notes in the thing.
Right.
And yeah, I know you can do that with the Kindle to a certain level, but you can't like skim through a Kindle real quick and go, where's that page? Where's that? Oh, here it is. You know what I mean?
Right.
There's just certain things I look at and go, okay, well, paper's going, and I hate paper.
Right.
I actually hate paper being in the office.
Yeah.
But then I like having books.
Right.
I don't know. It's like with board games. Like, I think I'd much rather play a board game on a board.
Yeah.
Right.
But ironically, I like playing chess on the computer way more than in person.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, and the other thing I would say too is there's certainly a social aspect to
Of course.
to playing games, and a lot of times this is a game store is the place for this type of person. A lot of times they may not fit into a lot of other buckets in society, and this is their place to go where they feel comfortable and want to go.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
This is great. I mean, it's such a random business, and everybody who's listening, if you think like every business has to be super, I hate to say super exciting because I'm sure it's exciting for you, but if you would ever thought you're gonna own a Magic the Gathering business someday and Pokemon business,
Right. No,
I mean that doesn't ever
register.
Yeah.
Actually. Yep.
Yeah, I think in the end I wanted to have you on. I came from a life where I thought I was doing the right thing getting a PhD, and then I started with a $56,000 a year job.
Right.
And I thought I was told if I worked really hard for 20 years I might make $100,000. And so to see someone go from ex-banking to running a shop of something you really love, I wish my kids and even more people would learn that you don't have to do which I was talking to the Walsh kids when I came and taught with you, is like this scripted path that you think, I guess the world is telling us we have to be these doctors, lawyers, these architects and whatnot. Like, you could just, I don't know, I just love the idea that you're doing anything. You got a great business, and I imagine it's not going to slow down. I love going in there. The customer service is incredible.
Whenever
So-
I go to another city, I like to find rare bookstores.
Okay.
So I think
That's
it's
cool.
kind of along the same lines as the
Yeah.
Magic the Gathering in a way of like,
Right. Yep.
and I always think to myself like, man, those are pretty neat. And just like, yeah, I don't know. I don't say it to be, oh, look, I like books. It's just neat to go into a store and say,
Yeah.
oh, what's over here?
What,
You know
what can I find there?
Yeah.
We have a lot of people that do that come in from out of town. They do the same thing.
Yeah.
For,
And
for the
when
board
it
games, of
comes
course.
down to it, I had some friends who, growing up from like 6th grade through high school, they would play this game with their dad, and I had just lost my dad. So it's nice to see little kids and dads like doing things together. especially for kids who might not be super athletic. I mean, it's a great outlet. So, like Paul,
100%.
for example. Actually, Paul, you might be able to kick my ass in a lot of sports nowadays. Tennis for sure.
Yeah.
Basketball, we're fairly even, I would say.
Didn't I beat you in basketball?
Well,
when we
I'm
played?
now in shape, so which I'm sure our viewers can tell. So severely, I don't think so, Paul. What do you think?
I thought there was one game. It was like 11-2.
We'll fire this back up. We'll have to record it for the podcast. But
Wouldn't it be exciting? We recorded us playing.
I don't think that would be exciting at all. It'd be a lot of missed shots. I shoot about 22 from the floor. Okay. Jameson Reeves from Full Grip Games. Tell us one more time where everyone can find you. You saying you do Instagram at all? Or?
I don't do Instagram.
You don't do the ham?
You don't think people will slide in your DMs and buy cards off Instagram? The only reason I say this, you ready for this? In Columbus, I used to go to this barbershop, Old Familiar, great guys. And right next door was one of these pipe shops, or it's like a weed shop, right?
Yep.
They're selling these glass bongs.
Oh, okay. Pipe shop. I'm like, what are you talking about?
They do so much business off Instagram. They
I
take a
bet.
picture of a bong,
Right.
it goes out,
Right.
people pay it, they ship it.
Right.
I'm like, what is going on here?
I got to think people would buy stuff off Instagram for you.
They probably would, and they would buy stuff off of Facebook too, because it's the same platform.
Same thing.
Basically.
I
Yeah.
follow
There's just-
booksellers on Instagram.
I just don't have enough time in the day, to be honest, to take pictures and everything like that. It's just it's an inefficient use of time for
But
me.
you have to put it on Amazon.
There's a you
you do lots on Amazon, not individual cards.
we do both, but you can mass load cards at a much higher frequency
Oh, okay.
That's
than
true.
just
Instagram
taking
is just
individual
slow.
pictures.
All
Yeah,
right, cool.
yeah, because we're loading thousands of cards at a time, so it's
All right.
yeah. Good idea. But you can find us on Facebook.
Good idea, but I'm not going to do it because it's a waste of time, you
Yeah,
asshole.
Yes, go ahead. That's a nice way to say it.
At fullgripgames.com and also on Facebook, Full Grip Games as well.
Jameson, it was wonderful having you.
Yeah, pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Subscribe to us down low. We need our viewer count getting up there.
And if 10 people
Go on.
write yes, please, in our
Paul Wills.
I will buy this jacket and wear it on an episode.
Okay.
Please tell me
10.
that was that's a fake jacket.
It is.
Okay,
yeah.
good. I'm
It's
not
not
gonna.
real
it's-
zebra-ish.
No,
sort of
Zebra?
mink. Well, it's
But
a light zebra.
It's still warm and fuzzy.
Yes,
though,
please.
so-
In the YouTube, you have to subscribe and write yes, please in the comments, and I will buy this jacket and wear it on episodes.
Jameson, thanks for coming.
Pleasure.
See you
Thanks
guys.
for having me.